The objective this week is the same as it was last week, except you have to go further by answering 4 questions at the end of each problem. Solve word problems with systems of equations. A movie theater sells adult tickets and children tickets. An adult ticket is $9.80 more than a children ticket. The theater sold 88 adult tickets and 61 children tickets for a total of $1,042.69. So from the information you have in the word problem, you must answer these 4 questions. Notice that number 1 and number 2 are the price of each ticket. From the first sentence, the movie theater sells adult tickets and children tickets, and it tells you that an adult ticket is $9.80 more than a children ticket. From that sentence, what equation could we come up with? What variable do we use to represent adult ticket? And what about children ticket? And then we have $9.80. That's not an equation. We have no operation and we have no equal sign. How can I get $9.80 if one ticket is $9.80 more than the other ticket? What operation could I use? Subtract. Adult ticket minus children ticket equals $9.80. That is because this one is $9.80 more than this one. If that's the case, and I subtract these two, this is what I should get, $9.80. Then the theater sold 88 adult tickets and 61 children tickets for a total of $1,042.69. What equation can I create from that? You got all of it except the operation. Yes, if I subtract those two, that will not give me $1,042.69. If I add them, then it will. So here is your system of equations. You must now solve it. From about 3 weeks of doing this, you should know that you could solve this by elimination or substitution. I am going to solve this by substitution, which means I must first rearrange this first equation into something that has just a variable by itself. I am going to solve for A, which means I have to move this to the other side. This must go to the other side. And when I do that, it's going to be 980 plus C instead of minus C. I can plug this expression into this equation for A. And that's what I'm going to do now. 88 times the quantity of $9.80 plus C, close the quantity, plus 61C equals 1,042.69. And I must solve that equation for C. My first step is to distribute the 88 through the parentheses and come up with 88 times 980, which is going to be $862.40. And then 88 times C. And then we have plus 61C equals 1,042.69. I have 2 C terms in there, 88 and 61. I must add those together. Write 862.40 and then add 88 and 61 to come up with 149C. And that will equal 1,042.69. We want the C term by itself on the left, so we will leave it here. And we will leave this where it's at. But we must move this over to this side, change the sign. So we will have minus 862.40. Simplify that right side. 1042.69 minus 862.40. And that's 180.29. Divide the 180.29 by the 149. And when we do that, we're going to come up with 121. So a children ticket is going to be $1.21. You still have to find the adult ticket. And luckily we have an equation that we created right here that we can plug C back into to figure out what that is. So that will be A equals $9.80 plus C, which is $1.21. If you plug that in your calculator, you will come up with $11.01. You've just solved for the children ticket and the adult ticket. But you must go back and answer these questions. Well, first of all, what is the price of a child ticket? We've already answered that. That's $1.21. And the price of an adult ticket we found to be $11.01. So we will put that in there. So now question number 3 is, if the theater raises the price of each ticket by 41%, then how much money would it make if it sold the same amount of tickets? So you have to dig back to junior high for percents and items like that. We're going to raise the ticket price by 41% in each case. And the way you're going to raise that ticket price in each case by 41% is to start with the ticket price itself. And 41% as a decimal is 0.41. But if you want to do all of this in one step, you're not going to multiply by 0.41. You're going to multiply by 1, which is going to give you the ticket price to start with, and then 0.41, and it will automatically add on the 41%. You'll do the same thing with the adult ticket. 1101 times 141. So let's figure out what each of these are going to be. For the child ticket, 121 times 141 comes out to be 1.7061. We are dealing with money. Keep that in mind. So if you get an answer of 1.7061, you are not to use those 4 digits. You're going to round it, and the squiggly equal sign is approximately equal to. That number rounded to 2 places because you only go to 2 places in money. If I round to the second decimal place, then what do I have? 1.71, $1.71. And then for the other ticket price, 1101 times 1.41. That gives me 15.5241. But I need to round that because it is money. What do I have when I round to the nearest cent? 15.52, $15.52. Okay, but we still haven't answered the question. The question is, if the theater raises those prices by that much, then how much money would it make if it sold the same amount of tickets? How many adult tickets did it sell? How many adult tickets did it sell? 88. How many children tickets did it sell? 61. So we have to use that over here. Adult tickets, 88, times the new adult price of $15.52, $15.52. Add that to 61 children tickets times the new children price of $1.71. So in your calculator, you have to do 88 times 15.52, and then add to that 61 times 1.71. You will come back with the following answer, $1,470.07. That is the answer to question number 3, and we will fill that in here. Next up, question number 4. If 40 families, all of which consisted of 3 adults and 4 children, went to a movie, then how much money would the theater make? So you have 40 families. Each family has 3 adults in it. How many adults are going to the movies on that night? 120. 40 times 3. That's 120 adults. So let's go down here and use A equals 120. And then back to the question. Each family has 4 children. If we have 40 families and 4 children in each family, how many children are going to the movies? 160. So over here, C equals 160. Now that's not necessarily A and C that we're going to plug into those other equations. I'm just using that to abbreviate adult and children. So let's look at the question again. How much money would the movie theater make? Notice in question 3, it says if. If the theater raises the price of each ticket by 41%, then what would the movie theater make? It doesn't say that the price has actually been increased. It says if. So that when you go to question number 4, here, you do not assume that you're using the prices from question 3. Question 3 was a hypothetical situation that you had to answer. It did not say that it was going to be raised. So the ticket prices you would have to use are the original ones here that you solved for. $1.21 and $11.01. So we will go back over here, and we know that we have 120 adults times $11.01 plus 160 kids times $1.21. Multiply that out to come up with the amount the movie theater would make if 40 families with 3 adults and 4 kids each went to the movies. So 120 times 1101, and then plus 160 times 121. That comes out to be $1,514.80. We'll put that as the question for, or as the answer for question number 4. $1,514.80. So in this case, we have one ticket that is $10.78 more than the other ticket, and in this case, it's going to be an adult ticket. Oh, that's way too big of a marker. So let's get rid of that and go here. The adult ticket minus the children's ticket is going to give us $10.78. And then if the theater sold 66 adult tickets and 78 children's tickets, that should equal $12.83.16. You can solve this by substitution by first rearranging the top equation, and that would be A equals 1078 plus C. And insert this into this to get 66 times 1078 plus C, and then plus 78C equals 1283.16. Multiply through, so you'll have 66 times 1078. That should be 711.48, and then plus 66C plus 78C equals 1283.16. Add these two together. 78 and 66 would be 144C. And then on the right side here, you're going to have this minus this. So let's just go ahead and do that to save a little bit of time. 1283.16, and then minus 711.48. And you come up with 571.68. You have to divide this by this. When you do that, you come back with 397. So there's the children's ticket, and all three of you that turned in a problem have that ticket price. We have to use that to solve for the adult ticket. And for the adult ticket, that is 1078 plus 397. So add 1078 and come up with 1475. Alright, there's the answers to questions 1 and 2. But for question number 3, if the theater raises the price of each ticket by 59%, then how much money would it make if it sold the same amount of tickets? So you have to go back to the ticket prices, and for the child ticket, $3.97, and multiply that by 1.59 to raise it by 59%. So $3.97 times 1.59, and that would be $6.31. And for the other ticket price, it was $14.75. Multiply that by 1.59. and come out to get 23.45. So if you sold the same amount of tickets, for the adult tickets 66, and multiply that by 23.45, and then for the children tickets 78 times 631, we'll get this answer: 66 times 23.45, and then plus 78 times 631 should be 2,039.88. And Samson had that answer. And then you have to go down to the very last one down here, which is for the families. If you had 41 families, and we can do this in the calculator only since we're running out of time, but you have 41 families, multiply that by 3. 41 times 3 is 123. We ran out of time. We cannot finish the problem. The answer is 2465.33 for question 4.